Call the meeting to order. Okay. See, there's not a large turnout. First item on the agenda, well, first of all, everybody knows Gary, so never mind. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from April 1st and September 9th. First off, April 1st, I'm assuming you guys have your copies. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of
So
April
moved.
1st?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Wait a minute, no, I can't, I was here then.
So, you can still make the motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve April 1st.
And seconded.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Sort of weird without Kevin here. The agenda, or the minutes from September 9th, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Treasurer's report. Treasurer's report. Couple things. We really don't have any money. We're okay, but we can't be spending any more money until the end of the year, or even at that point. Our insurance makes it look like we have a lot of money in there, which we don't. So to fix that, we've already taken the flood insurance money and moved it into a separate bank account, which is tied into our bank account that we have. So you won't even see that on the regular financials. That'll be on a separate report that shows just the insurance. And then after our regular insurance is due January 27th, so when that gets paid, then we'll start putting that money in a separate account as well. So it will not confuse anyone as to how much money we actually have in our financials. I mean,
What's the flood run this year?
I'm sorry?
The flood?
The flood isn't due until July.
How much?
We don't know, we don't have the bill yet. We can only
30 days before you
I
get
thought I said October.
No. Flood comes out March for the clubhouse and July for the buildings. The regular insurance is due January 27th. So we have a pretty nice number for insurance, but who knows if we have enough because we don't have a bill yet. But flood, since it's not due until next year, we went ahead and moved that. Since there's not that much money in there right now, and we'll be building that back up. And so, unless anyone has any questions?
No, it's a good move.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Guess you're gonna have a second.
I'll second.
All in
Hey,
favor?
Ken, you gotta open up after, you know.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay? Good news is our bills are paid.
So right now you're saying they're both in one account?
They were. We've already
Now they're
moved the flood
separate.
insurance to a separate account.
Okay.
Okay. The money to do the chair strapping, by the way, is coming from the pool reserves, because we don't have any money to pay for it out of operating, which is part of pool, so that's fine.
The ladies club wouldn't.
Don't know, the ladies club isn't here, and I can't presume what the ladies club wants to do. They probably would.
They might have,
Yeah.
but Reenie's the president and she's,
Actually, she resigned.
yeah, so there's
There is no president right now. And Catherine is not well, so and Reenie just had surgery, or is having surgery, so it's gonna be well for her.
well, it's nothing to do with us anyway,
So they would have to make that decision. If they wanted to do a donation, I'm sure there's plenty of things that they can.
so donate to
Yeah,
them.
we still have umbrellas to talk about later. Community council. Community council meeting was last Thursday, and it's always a joy.
What a joke.
The main topic was the roofer guys, and they didn't even show up.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's a good sign.
Nonsense. They wanted to talk about nonsense.
Well, they were basically talking about the roofs and they were gonna add the mansards in.
What was discussed was, let's see, the proposed budget for 2014, which was approved.
Is it the numbers that we have?
Yes. Palm tree trimming it needs to be and was approved to do it twice a year instead of once a year. It's $14 per tree, and if they ever get out here and do ours, then it'll be a miracle. But Ours have been, I deviate, I'll go back to that in a minute. Speeding on Garden Drive is becoming a real problem. There's been several near misses with pedestrians, people just taking out of here, and also specifically Fernwood, Heatherwood, where people will start to come into Fernwood, not look at Heatherwood, and there's a car coming out.
Yeah.
No one really has the right of way. This is not a thoroughfare, so we just have to open our eyes and look. I mean, we were on a side swipe, somebody coming out of McDonald's on the back road. I don't know how he could have missed us. Big truck, he just came running out there, and if we hadn't moved as fast as we did, car would have been back in the shop. And so you just have to be really careful when you're walking and when you're driving.
It was brought up that they were gonna ask the police department to come in and monitor.
They already have been.
They haven't
I
in yet.
mean, they set up front there a lot.
Yeah.
They did, that was when Jimmy was here. Let's see, what else?
I don't think they're allowed to come anymore.
They can if you're invited.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's private property, so I mean, they don't just come automatically.
Yeah. You have to
If you invite them in and ask them to do it, they'll do it.
Same thing with checking people's cars to see if they're locked. They'll
Yeah,
do
they
that.
come in on my, cause I left my car unlocked and I found this little note on the dash of my car.
Yeah.
That's a community officer is doing that, yeah.
Yeah, Officer Dan,
Yeah, Deputy Dan.
Deputy Dan, yeah, tall guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the palm trees are responsibility of the community council and not each circle?
On Garden Drive.
Only on the drive.
Oh,
On the
I'm
main
talking about
drive.
ours.
Well,
Ours,
that's-
we're responsible.
Right,
Oh.
I'll get to
She
that in a
said
minute.
you'll get back to it.
Exiting circles, Fernwood and Heatherwood, that's what that meant was, that was, just watching who's coming in and who's going out and be courteous, pretty much. Creating a petty cash account was decided that, community council didn't need one, Williams, sorry Gary, it's very quick in getting checks.
They'll never get checks out of us. That's
No, I
right.
know.
Stops you guys from spending.
There you go, that's what I'm going for the,
Well,
we
yeah.
already checked to everybody.
No, not to everybody. In fact, we didn't spend a dime in September.
No, not a thing.
Not a thing. No, I mean in petty cash.
Oh, and petty cash, oh.
That's
I
good.
thought you meant you showed cash.
Oh, God, no. No. Gary says I spent some. Do not enter and Garden Drive signs. John Gluck is going to look at getting some signs. And again, I'm not quite sure. Do you remember where he was talking about putting these? There's so many signs up there already.
That was turned down.
No, it wasn't.
The only thing that they're looking at is on the exit over here, they wanna replace the big sign that says do not enter with a new one, cause you can't read it. And then the entrances of Garden Drive, there's like a street sign that says Garden Drive.
It's been abused.
It's
Yeah, it
been
has.
abused, the letters are
Peeling.
stick and peel letters.
Right.
So they're looking at getting a brand new one made by the city.
Right, and
Okay.
Jim Quinn, one of the councilors.
And Jim Quinn's looking into that.
He's getting a quote from the city for the Garden Drive sign, and a quote for a do not enter sign will also be needed, and John Clark will
Right.
look at that, that's right.
And they looked at putting more slow down signs and
Yeah.
everybody said no.
No, I mean, there's,
You got too many signs.
You don't even see them, they're so low. If you don't live here, you have a problem.
the big ones that,
They put them, it's like
no,
this
these are
size.
those big ones that we just put up though. You think those are low?
I don't think they're low, because I'm short.
I thought they were pretty high up, I mean.
I didn't notice them the few first days, and I know people who drive here, they don't.
They don't pay attention.
If you put them up too high, they're not gonna see them either, so.
They're not gonna pay attention to them.
And they're not
People
gonna
that are
pay
short
attention.
can't see them.
Yeah, that's right. The short people won't see them at all.
And then last, well, actually, it was Jim had talked to me about the concrete slabs in front of the benches on Garden Drive, so that was brought up. And John Gluck is going to get some estimates, that's what I sent you, that email. He's gonna get some estimates, we'll talk about it at next month's meeting. They can't be that expensive. And believe it or not, nobody, they're just like, huh?
Most of the people didn't even know they were there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And how long?
And you know, a
They
lot of these
never
are
go out.
walkers, a lot of these are people that walk every day.
Yeah.
They just,
Yeah, but see, they don't sit there.
well, he
Yeah.
doesn't either.
I don't either, but it just, you know, the aesthetics.
Yeah.
I see that from time to time, and I've seen exactly, I knew what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, I've
ever
seen
since,
too.
ever since
That's
I've lived
opposite.
here, I've always noticed, and I thought, you know, because the yard people that do the grass, they just run over the.
Oh, yeah.
They
Yeah,
don't
I know
care.
they do.
Sprinkler heads get broken off, they don't.
Oh, yeah.
care.
As
I
soon
know
as they
already.
fixed it,
Yeah,
boom, half an hour later,
yeah, they're driving over, I know. In fact, they,
I think they have to fix it on
I
their
think
own
they should
cost.
pay for it.
what,
They really, they broke a big one right in the corner, the one they just fixed.
by, which one are you talking
Our
about?
building,
The slab?
in the front, the one that I told you that is broken, oh, I told Gary, it was broken, he sent them over, they fixed it.
Okay. I didn't
Not
know
even
anything
an
about
hour
this.
later, it was broken.
See, I didn't even hear you tell me about that one.
And it was one of the big ones, not the little ones.
Is it a slab, piece of slab?
24-inch, Joe?
Just in the corner there, when you come out from the other entrance,
Is it grass or slab?
grass.
Oh, the grass? I'll tell you what that was from. People that, whoever had that party, oil leaked on it.
Oh, no, not the grass itself that needs to be replaced, yeah.
That's what that's from.
Oh, that big circle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know, he told me, and then the guy with the chairs that was here,
Mhm.
his car was running on top of the grass.
Yeah, I know, and I told
I
him
went
to
there, I
quit.
turned, turn it off.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know what to do, well, it's one thing at a time
You
here.
cannot put too many signs here, it's just common sense.
Yeah, well,
Nobody pays attention to signs anyway.
I wanna park here now, so I'm gonna park here. That's why I won't fix the grass over here, because people keep parking there. I'll leave it at that. And lastly, from the community council, Jack Dupler has an affiliation with Interfaith Food Pantry and has asked if anyone is, would like to, where was this? Contribute monetary or non-perishable foods to the Interfaith Food Pantry. And
Yeah, give me, because December we are replacing our hurricane stuff, so it's a good idea. Anybody wants that?
Let me see one.
And then I'll leave some up on the counter.
Anybody?
yeah, what is it?
Interfaith
What-
Ministry, it's
The Interfaith Ministry, they have a food pantry.
Okay.
See, what we do, we prepare for the hurricane season, and in December we donate it, and that's a good idea. And the next year we buy new, it's not too much money.
Okay, we're gonna go out of order on here, save the best for last. And so let's talk about the adoption of rule for viewing association records, which Gary had sent to me for resource. You wanna talk about this, Gary?
No, other than the fact that it does limit the access to the records as some, it doesn't stop anybody from asking for them, but it stops the fact of asking for the same record every week over and over again. It's trying to put some limitations on those areas, and you do have a problem here with this problem. So my suggestion to the board is to approve this, and that way there's some rules set for that kind of work. And that's.
How's that go with freedom of information?
It's free, it's free, it's free. You know, we're not limiting, we're not telling anybody they don't have access to it. They just have to be specific, and it has to be limited, and it takes time and stuff like this.
Did we have a problem with anybody since you moved in? For the records, asking for too many records?
No, but this is a resource thing.
All the other circles have it?
The other circles don't have a problem in that area. That's
So we
basically
have a problem, but how did you determine that we have a problem?
how, just from the prior problems that they had regarding those issues of getting records on a timely basis. So I figured it's best to, if that's there, we should look ahead and say, well, we can limit this now, and then we'll have less of a problem when this comes available.
This is nothing new, this is all the same stuff that we did before that just says, if you want to inspect it, you send a written request to the manager of the association, and it says, you know, the normal stuff. There's nothing weird in here. Inspection or copying of records shall be limited to those records specifically requested in advance in writing. No unit owner may submit more than one request for inspection or copying of the same record in a 60-day period. No owner may submit the
30
same,
days.
no,
I would
make a
change it.
request for the same record.
Okay,
Within
same record,
Yeah.
okay.
All inspection of records shall be conducted at the association's office or at such other location designated by the association, which would be resource, of course. No unit owner shall remove original records from the location. Like I said, this is nothing new, this is all records.
Is it reasonable?
Yeah, okay.
Then go for it. That's all what the law says.
Anybody?
Make a motion, we accept the rules and regulations for record request.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright. Motion passes.
Hey, you gotta start seconding
Taking
some
your
of these
gamble.
things too. Yeah.
That's it.
It's all Gary's fault. Gotta blame somebody, I ain't gonna blame me.
It's always easy to blame the manager, I know.
That's right.
I learned that a long time ago.
I'm gonna give you this right now. October,
21st, isn't it?
21st, all late on midnight.
actually, I'll email it to you, because then
You
we'll need it for the minutes.
want like a copy of it,
Yeah.
attach it to the next one.
I'm good, like I never see you.
Is that a promise?
He
Right,
wishes.
Gary?
He wishes. So do I sometimes. All right, Clubhouse Wi-Fi. This was a request that Moshe made, and Gary did check into it, and they will be happy to do that. However, it's no different than like if you go to, like we were talking about, if you go to Olive Garden, or if you go to Tom's Bar, or something like that, if they've got Wi-Fi there, and if you have Bright House already, not just our bulk cable, but you would have to have like your internet through Bright House, then it would be free. If you don't, if you're with AOL or with Verizon or something like that, then you can still use it, but you have to pay for it. And
I
it's
think
no
it's
different.
good.
It's the same thing as you go anywhere, it would be that. Here's the caveat. The language that they use, that Bright House uses for this, is fine, it's at no charge to us. However, they give us the equipment, we're responsible for that equipment, which means if we lose it or someone steals it, we have to pay for it, which is not good. And so what that would mean is that we need to keep it under lock and key. And to do that, we can't keep it in the back room because it's too hot back there. We would have to get a control or a box, what do you think, Gary, a box or
It's a
something?
back
We-
plastic
we-
box and you have to screw it to
We
the
have
wall.
such a big problem with
We have in the
safety.
past.
Yeah, that's why we keep the doors
People
locked.
Why the doors
people
locked?
remove toilet paper and towels. You know,
That's why everything's
these
locked up.
places. It's sad.
I
but
know,
Leave
when
something in the
I moved here, I
refrigerator,
thought
it's
you were
gone.
paranoid, I swear to God, I thought like, what is going on here?
Did we find somebody sleeping?
And that, somebody
Somebody
takes,
sleeping in here.
somebody takes the modem, they take it down to the pawn shop and then they'll get $20.
Yeah.
What about the TV and everything, that's not
It's,
locked.
It's bolted down.
yeah,
And what's that,
The
there's
cabinet?
something under it.
the cabinet.
No,
We
one,
can-
another thing, nobody's gonna steal that TV, that's an arcade, you couldn't even get $5.
This
You
one.
couldn't even get $5 at the pawn
Oh,
shop
oh,
now.
don't
It
go
was
there.
It was a 50-inch flat
Yeah.
screen up there. that you
Don't
gotta
go
do it,
there.
so- So, you know,
90.
it's up to you, the only risk,
Oh, no.
it's no real advantage to the association, because if you got Wi-Fi up in there, you can connect down here at the pool, we'll put your own
No,
Wi-Fi.
it
it's
doesn't
fine.
reach exactly to the pool, that's the
See, it
problem.
depends on where your condo is, like mine does, but a lot of them won't.
I will put it, how much is a modem?
I don't know, but we can't, I mean, we would have to get a box to put it in. You know,
I personally can't see it. I'm sorry. Why are we putting in Wi-Fi in the clubhouse? Number one, you're gonna invite people that don't belong here to come here to use the Wi-Fi.
No, they don't have the
They
password.
don't have it. The only people that can use the Wi-Fi, if you are subscribing into it up in your unit, you have a modem, or you have outside, you could be someplace else, you could be in, you can have a modem with a Bright House, then you can have access to it. That's the only, anyone who doesn't have their own access through Bright House can't use it.
if you don't have Roadrunner, like you have AOL, you don't have Roadrunner.
Right.
So you would have to pay to use it. It's pay and play is what it's called.
But I have Bright House.
So you'd be able
Only
to.
on your bulk cable.
No, I got it for my internet.
Oh, then it's
Oh,
free
okay,
for
you
you,
would
then
be
you
free.
have a user
Yeah.
ID and a password.
Right.
Nobody can go in. only if you have Bright House and a password.
So, I mean, if somebody is here visiting, unless they had Bright House, which nobody outside of the state of Florida is gonna have, they're not gonna be able to use it anyway. And why they would want to, is beyond me. The only thing I can see somebody wanting to use it for is if we're having a meeting and we wanna go look something up and, like, I can do it on my phone, but if, like,
That
you
will,
know.
it's
So
also, it's
there's
more
12,
comfortable.
people that have access to it right now, sitting here.
Right,
Just by pulling it up to the Wi-Fi in this area, it pulls it up and tells you how many, there are 12 people down here that can communicate on the internet right now.
But it's not strong enough, you have like one or two, and it comes and goes, depends on the
it
wind.
tells you what units you mean?
No,
No, it just.
No, it just gives you,
Oh, password.
I will be for it, it's just more comfortable, otherwise I have to sit in the corner there and then go. It just, if it doesn't cost money,
but it's gonna cost money.
It is gonna cost money.
It's gonna cost us money to get a secure box put in here. It's gonna cost us money if somebody breaks in and steals it.
Well, if it's in a secure box, that's.
okay, you cannot have double there, so how much is a secure box?
You have to look into it.
I don't know. It took Bright House a long time to get back to them.
I think we should do that, we had it in different condo, nobody ever touched it, so. Right. Nobody's.
People take Lisa's water out of the refrigerator, are you kidding, and the doors are locked.
And rolls of toilet tissue.
And
Even if you steal it, Bright House knows where it is, you cannot connect it, so it
we
doesn't
still
make
like,
sense.
in the contract, we have to pay for it.
Okay,
I don't know, how do you find out what a box would cost?
And when
Well,
we
a
find out.
box, you just go down to buy a Home Depot and buy a plastic box, but something that's the size for your, what do you call it, thing over there,
My
your
thermostat.
thermostat. You know,
Well,
you know, the modem's only, you know, this big, you know, you just need a
Yeah.
small box.
Well, it's up to the board.
What's it cost?
Well, we need to know what
Bright
it
House
costs.
said it's free, so the box, I
It's
don't know,
whatever the
20,
box
30
costs.
bucks.
And the installation.
Box, I wouldn't worry about, but
The service doesn't.
Bright House, nothing's free. You're gonna pay for them to come and hook it up.
No,
This one is
no.
free,
No.
totally free.
You got the contract there?
Yeah, it's okay, it's free, and the only problem with it is somebody steals it, you're gonna have to come up with $100 for the modem.
It's not the world, and I think it's a nice service for the people who live here, they can sit here and use the internet.
Yeah, but most of the people that are here have their own
Have their
internet.
internet,
Yes, you have to have your own
But why
internet
would
to
we
use
want-
it, it's just that the
want-
lines don't come here. What
I
I
think
have to do
there's
is.
no advantage to it in here, the advantage to it is somebody out there with a tablet at the pool wants to do something.
Yeah,
you know.
that's what I mean.
There's
You
no,
have-
there's
you
no
have to
distinct,
have Bright House.
I can't picture anyone coming down with a
Internet.
comfortable home to use their internet.
No,
I
no.
don't know how many people have Bright House. You know, like, I have Verizon, so it wouldn't do me any good.
No.
Well, you can do the pay.
Well, yeah, but why wouldn't it come down here?
Yeah, so it's not good, but most people here have Bright House, so if it doesn't cost
I
any
don't know
money,
about
it's
most, I
only.
mean, I know, we've got Bright House, right? Joyce has Verizon, you've got,
No, I got Bright House.
do you? I know, what's it, one?
I used to have Verizon, switched to Bright House last year, and I'm thinking of switching back to Verizon. Cause it sucks.
Yeah, it does. But,
How can you, well, I thought you couldn't have another service in here.
for your internet, you
For
can.
your internet, yeah.
Yeah.
You can for your TV. Verizon has,
They won't come in here.
No, Verizon is
No,
not here. I wish they would have been here.
what was that key hooked up to that?
Who
That was
knows?
Verizon.
He may have bootlegged something, I don't know. It's possible.
He probably had both of them.
If it doesn't cost any money, let's put it in, buy the
Well, let's
box for
find out,
$30.
Can we, how do we find out what the price would be for a box?
For a box, I'll go over home.
$10, $15, that's the most, you know.
And $15. I think
You wanna
we
make sure it's
should-
got holes in it so it can breathe. you know,
Yeah.
once-
Because it's gonna have to be in here. And then here's the next problem, this room isn't, the air is not on unless we're in here, and we're not in here all that
It's not
often.
too hot, they go 100 and something degrees
Well,
there.
that's something that we need to know, because I don't, that's the next thing is if,
Yeah, he won't get a problem.
okay,
Mhm.
alright. So, what's your pleasure?
I say no.
Okay?
I'm not 100% in favor of it, but if the majority want it, then we'll go for it.
Well, I don't have a problem with it, as long as it doesn't cost more than $15 to get a box.
Somebody gonna make a motion?
I make a motion that Dick will investigate the cost of a box.
Yeah, I know. I'll look it up.
We'll
It
investigate.
can be a regular box and then we'll punch holes in it if we have to. that's all.
Exactly.
And providing it does not exceed $15 to purchase the box for this modem. That's why I come to the thing.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Ken?
Okay.
Motion carries. And then we don't need another board meeting, if it's less than $15, fine, let's get it.
Okay.
Can I contribute something if it's more than 15? I don't know, but
Let's
it's
wait and see what
$20. I'll put
Let's
it
wait and
right.
see what it is.
Should be right.
We might be able to pick up something at,
See, less than that.
49th Street at what do you call it?
Thrift shop,
Hmm?
the thrift shop.
Well, it's like a thrift shop, but it's,
Habitat.
I know what you're talking about.
Habitat for Humanity.
Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. We'll leave that in your table.
All right.
Okay,
Look for a box.
with holes.
I'll put holes in if needed. With holes. We can do a plastic box too. Just a regular
Yeah.
plastic box.
As long as we can lock it.
With a lock to it.
Yeah, anything with a lock, that's not going away.
No parking areas.
Who's gonna have the key?
Somebody on the
Well,
board?
no one will ever really have to go in there unless, if you set it up right, you can set it up where there's a little reset button in the back of it. You know, the only thing you'd ever have to do is really reset it until it stops working and they have to replace it.
Maybe we should leave the power plug out of the box, so you can unplug it, plug it, it's
You
not.
wouldn't wanna get a switch, you know, okay.
Toggle or something?
What do you call it, one of those extenders, you know, and have an on and off switch and then.
Yeah,
So-
it's a power switch.
Because I can't picture that many people really.
I can't do that.
That way you
If it
turn
makes
it
people
off.
happy, then fine.
A couple bucks, you buy the
Yeah.
cable.
Like when we're sailing, there's these, well, because it's gonna be the router as well, and they go out from time to time, and they just have to reset them, it's not that big of a deal.
You know, you do is pull the plug.
Yeah,
Wait a couple of minutes, put it back in.
right. No parking areas. No parking on the grass.
Absolutely.
If you see your neighbor parking on the grass, tell them or call me, or call somebody on the board, call Gary. We just got grass ruined, he replaced it as a courtesy, they ain't doing it anymore.
It was 20 pieces of grass that he had to put there.
Somebody
Somebody
had-
had the car running there.
There was a party, people parked on the grass, the guy from design knew it was, but he thought he would do it as a courtesy, and, where's these people?
Cranes.
Ron and Kathy.
Cans.
Ron
Oh,
and
yeah,
Kathy.
okay, I know, I was, my eyes were not.
Okay, there you go.
She needs more than that.
And we just, you know, people are gonna park on it, but if you're having company, they're either gonna have to park up front, or you're gonna have to borrow your neighbor's spots, that's it, period.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what else to do, we're not replacing grass.
What happens
People
when we
keep-
have our paving done and stuff like that, whenever it's with a person?
Well, then we park on the outside, I'm talking about the inner circle here. Not right here.
so we ruined the grass out on Garden
Yes,
Drive.
That's perfect.
Their problem, not ours.
That's a once in a blue moon thing, once every 10, 11 years. This
I
is-
really got upset because everything is nice and green and then.
And then
boom.
somebody does this, and you got this oil spill and stuff in there.
He said that's because they left the car running.
Why would they leave it
That's
all running?
crazy, keep it
He
air.
said it's not oil, he looked at it.
I know, 'cause he was
It's
down
the heat
there.
from the engine.
Yeah, with the converter heat from.
Yeah.
I
We
don't
just
know.
set the grass on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, right out in front of, when you first come into the circle, that grass got ruined, and I refused to replace it because people keep parking there.
Dirty old man.
I see.
All right, we're done.
Do you need blinders on?
Yeah, move chairs, you put them back, it's not a real complicated thing. Mom doesn't live here, we don't have maid service, we have cleaning service once a week, which does not mean they're gonna come in once a week and move chairs back. They go where they go, you wanna move them, you wanna move stuff from here, you wanna use the clubhouse, great. Put everything back the way you found it. Whoever turned off the rat catcher back there, they left that off, they left the fan on, they left all the chairs in disarray, they left, there was something else. You can't do that, we don't have people coming in here and cleaning up after other people.
You need to put up a sign with that name of that family that cannot use the girl house anymore.
Exactly, it's gonna get to that point, I mean,
Yeah.
That's, just republish it again and again.
it's in, and that comes with following the rules and regulations.
Yeah.
And in fact, and I know who did it, 2 burn holes in this chair, and 2 chairs out here.
What?
2 burn holes from people that were smoking out here. This is just-
Inside?
No, outside. Not just recently, this is a while back. And they know they're not supposed to smoke out there, and yet they did. And now there's burn holes in there, and I'm not replacing them. They're just gonna sit there. And the guy told me, he said, they're perfectly cylinder, and he said it would cost you too much money for me just to replace those 2 straps on 2 chairs. So it's,
On those chairs, the
Yes.
big ones?
the 2 chairs out here, under the awning.
You said it costs too much to replace the strap, though?
Well, if you just do the, not too much, but it would, because
They're
of,
like $1 on the strap.
yeah, well, if, depending where you were taking it to,
Yeah.
yeah. This guy.
I thought he's going to do all of them now, no?
No, just the ones
Not
that,
these.
not these. Just the ones that need it. These were in perfect condition, because they sit under the awning all the time.
Well, I was guilty of anybody, if anybody
I know.
was, but I always replaced them.
I know, you took them with you and had them replaced.
But I hadn't smoked in 4 years.
I know it's not you.
Been
It's
4
for
years
3
already.
weeks.
Very good.
No shanties, no
I would
nothing.
just contact the people.
And it was not me, I wasn't sure that anyhow.
So I would do.
Well, people don't pick up their stuff after themselves, because I was here last night, and I ended up picking 2 plastic bottles up that were out here. They were out in the courtyard, I mean, in the regular,
Well, when
Around the
I
patio.
first moved here, we had Dwayne. Dwayne, he went out here and he cleaned this deck every night. And that-
Sure, you have to
people,
do that.
people got used to that.
Uh-huh.
So they think there should be a board member or one of us clean this every day.
That's not gonna happen.
I know, but that's the way they think.
I usually come out there every night and rearrange
Do we
the
have a
chairs.
garbage can somewhere here? Oh, yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm out also, I can pick up for that.
But that's not the point. We're
That's
all
not the point.
adults.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to babysit
Again
someone.
and again, it's like kindergarten.
Boring, Gary.
No, I'm gonna say, I could become a millionaire if I could find something for you 55 years and older people to keep you busy and active, I'll tell you that right now. I could be a millionaire if I could find
You'd be a
something.
billionaire.
Instead of sitting up there watching Oprah and causing trouble.
Oh, right.
You could be doing something constructive.
We used to do that.
Ah,
We used to do that.
Can we put it in the minutes?
What? He's gonna be a millionaire.
Yeah, we have to be busy.
Okay, I would suggest republish it together with no
It's all-
talking on the back.
It's
They
in the
don't
rules.
read it.
They sign off when they move in here, they've read it, they understand it, and yeah, all we can do is send letters, which makes Gary busier. It's so unnecessary, so it's going out the wrong way.
Just.
There's
something
gonna
will
be
be-
somebody,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna get killed, and the association is gonna wind up with a huge lawsuit on its hands. Quit going out the wrong way, I'm not meaning anybody in this room. I'm meaning it for, I know you're taping this, quit going out the wrong way. Because when we get the lawsuit, you're going to have to pay too.
It's usually trucks, that's the one,
No,
because
I'm
I
talking about
follow
owners.
around.
Well, there's owners that go out of here the wrong way.
Yeah, and I
Owners
follow
and
around.
other people that
Yeah, don't know. There was the realtor that we were talking to that day.
Went out the wrong way.
He started to, Jack and I were leaving, and he's sitting in his truck over by the dumpster, and we walked over there and he said, didn't you see the sign when you came in here? Oh, well, yeah, but I thought I could just go out that way. No, you can't.
Gonna hit somebody for sure.
Okay,
Anyway,
Moving on.
time.
let's see. Now we'll get to our favorite subject. Yeah, keep doing this.
No, I know what it is,
The
goodbye.
budget.
The good Lord made my eyes to look.
gonna start with the mansard replacement information. Gary received some updated pricing on mansards today, late this morning, that, we were thinking it was, for those that don't know, that it was going to be $90,000 to replace the mansards. It turns out, it would be, it's not much better, but $71,000 for the buildings plus,
6,000.
no, I'm sorry, $11,000 per building plus $5,000 for the clubhouse, so $71,000.
But now, and yes, you always have to put in another $5,000 a minimum in there because of, you don't know how much roof damage or
Yeah.
plywood damage is
So
up there,
plywood.
you know, it's.
We got some that's got holes in it now, so you know you're gonna have some rot.
It's unknown.
What's the material on this?
Yeah.
Whatever we pick, whatever.
That was
we
that was
decide.
that was for metal.
Oh, that was for metal? Okay.
Metal.
Like the one.
Your,
Yeah.
what you have here are more expensive, and then there's fiberglass, which is cheaper.
Now, on these, there's a, what they call a hand cut and a machine cut. Machine cut's half the price.
And that's what they used on this. They also used, from what George was saying, was it 9-inch instead of 5-inch? Or I don't know if it's.
No, the other way around. That's
Should
the
be
one
5-inch,
before.
but they're
It'd be
using
9-inch,
9.
yeah. And, I don't know if that's one of the reasons why it didn't last.
Well, they don't.
No, it's cold, it's probably codes back in that time that they couldn't do it that way. Now you'd have to meet whatever codes are
I
for
think
that.
the code still says 9.
It doesn't.
It does in my area anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what it says here, and I don't know what Buttonwood's looking at doing,
So
but
what do we have? It was 90,000. What are we with? 80,000 now, so a few bucks less.
71,000.
71?
yeah. So,
that-
and you add another 5, so
Oh.
76.
Plus 5.
Say 80, round numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still, 80, 90,000, it's still potato, it's,
It's a chunk.
yeah, that's a
Good chunk
chunk.
of money.
So that includes all the carports as well?
No, oh no,
Carports are privately owned.
that's
So we're
right.
gonna
He
have
doesn't have
hotspots.
any, he doesn't want to pay for it. Why should
No,
he?
nobody does.
That's
I
$800 a
have,
carport.
I've got a double, so.
It will be a good idea when the company is doing it to get together and ask them how much it will cost
Oh,
per
yeah.
double or per single and do it at the same time.
Of course. But the unit owner's gonna have to be in
That's up to
agreement
the
with it.
unit owner.
Yeah, you can't do half of one
Now-
without the other half.
No.
The board can say, when you replace your carport, it will be with whatever
Oh, that'll look
we're
like
doing.
Exactly, because it has to look the same.
But you can't force a unit owner to make replacement,
And what's the purpose of doing this?
because these have are disintegrating.
They're
Very
disintegrating, they're
little.
starting to leak.
They're not, okay, what do you say?
They are-
I don't
they
think-
were-
Well, George has got a big hole in his.
They, right now, it's an aesthetic issue. That's why we're not doing it right this second. And quite honestly, as we said before, no one in this complex ever even thought about mansards at all, ever. And then Gary brought it up a lot, and,
Troublemaker.
and rightfully so, now that we know we have to deal with it. And
Well, it's
so-
smart, you gotta start planning for it eventually.
And the question becomes, when we get into the budget, and we've got different viewpoints on how the budget should be done,
We're gonna put it in as a budget item.
well, maybe. There's two ways to look at it. You either add it in to the if we do a full state mandate, it's not fully funded, it's full state mandated reserves. If we go with that, then it will be included in that. If we go with a partially funded budget, it will not be included in
I
that.
understand, okay.
And maybe we do a one-time assessment, which some people have said they would prefer a one-time assessment over putting it in their maintenance fee, which means their maintenance fee is a little lower, and then they know they have to come up with that money. Some people are of the mind that they won't be here at the time we do the assessment, and they won't have to worry about it. Others just would prefer to have a lower maintenance fee than have the
What kind
maintenance.
of time frame do you look at?
We can do it anytime, 2 years, 5 years, it's not like it has to be done tomorrow.
What about the other circles? They're about the same age. What do they say?
They'll put it off as long as they can, I would expect.
So until we have a serious, until a few are leaking and it's really bad, don't touch it.
Well, I would say until Circle starts doing it. Once they start doing it, then,
And everybody should do it.
and maybe we can get a package deal or something.
Well, that's smart, I don't know why we don't do that anyway.
Yes.
You know what, I was thinking about the insurance.
Mhm.
It's 70,000 per circle. We get together, we have the 1 million to be self-insured. It's fine.
But you can't do that because they're all separate associations.
But we have the council as a top association.
Can't do it. They have no authority over any of the associations. We went through that before, did we go through that? To the tune of, what was it? It was a couple $1,000 with attorneys for that. All for the attorney to tell us that this council can't do anything.
$70,000 for insurance, it's like
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And to go back for just a second, now that we're gonna start talking about the budget, about the palm trees. Palm trees were ordered back before all the rains came, which was,
Screw me up.
I'm sorry. No, it goes in with the budget.
You told
Oh, we're not going to
start
budget.
working and you were falling asleep. I've seen exactly what happened here, I'm sorry.
And,
Oh, I wasn't falling asleep.
his mind's been preoccupied here. We have a special deal, a special contract that I did a few years back, where we get our palm trees done for $12.50 a tree. The going rate, the best rate they'll give anyone in the gardens is $14 now. Most companies are charging $20 a tree. So at the time, it was a really good deal, and still is. I mean, $12.50 versus $14, every dollar saves whatever.
Yeah.
But as Gary said, it probably didn't put us at the bottom of the list because they get more money from other people. And at any rate, we were on the schedule for the week that it started raining every day. And then that went on for 2 weeks, and then they got 2 weeks behind. Supposedly, I've been told that it's supposed to be done this week. I'll believe it when I see it. I call them almost every day, and I get the same answer, and it does no good to yell and scream and shout. And if I could find somebody that would do it for $14, I would be more than happy to go there. But I have not found anybody that will do it for less than $20.
Did they say that they're not going to do it in the next 8 weeks or something?
Oh, no, they keep saying within a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of months now, but they keep saying in a couple of weeks, they'll have it done. And I say, okay, fine,
They'd probably like to get out of this.
$12.
Say, don't ever come back again, you know, so that's what they want anyway.
Well, I used to get along really well with the owner, but I yelled at him so much that now I talk to the guy that actually does the driving, which is fine, because he's the one that's actually coming after. And he keeps telling me they're behind, they lost guys, they lost their drivers, they try to give people jobs and they don't show up. Everybody's got their hardships. And as long as they come, but I mean, there's stuff.
Question, how long did you work with this company? How many years? Okay, give them a chance.
8 or 10.
8 to 10 years, I'd say.
Give them a chance, I would say 8 weeks, and tell them we were talking about it, we're giving you guys.
Moshe, makes no difference, that makes no difference. That's why I quit yelling and screaming about it, because it goes in here and comes out here. They'll do it, it's just when they get to it. And I get asked about it all the time, and they're coming, that's all I can tell them. Is that they will come, and one day they'll just show up and do it, and
Yeah, we gotta get them before too long, because there's some palm trees that are rubbing on the roof.
I know, I've told them that too.
Yeah, those weeds,
Budget.
seeds.
The seeds, and like the reclinata, it's dropping and
Make them.
making
Oh,
us.
that's like little bombs there.
Oh, yes, yes.
Middle of the night.
Oh, you wanna talk about the roof mitigation?
No, other than, the board's gonna have to face the fact whether we're gonna do roof mitigations for the buildings. And that's, coming up soon, so that's probably be $80, $90, $100 per building to do it. And what that does, it helps your homeowners, if there is any savings on the mitigation, it helps them with their insurance.
Right.
Yeah, most of the individuals have done their own now.
They're
Like
required.
I did my two, when I went to renew my insurance.
That's when I asked you what you paid.
Yeah, $70. That's what I paid.
Now, this is the association wants to provide that service, and you want to tell the homeowners to do it. You're probably going to get downgraded from what they call an ISO 6, which is the most fireproof building. You're going to get downgraded to a 4, so there's going to be limited advantage to your homeowners. The guys who come in and do your homeowning thing, they blink when they do the report, and
Just like they blinked when we had the first roof bit done.
versus doing it by a company that's going to come in and do them all.
But
Because they have to literally drill a hole in your ceilings on the outside and see how the roof is connected to the wall.
when they
Nobody
did,
did that when I did mine. And that
Oh,
was
you
just-
just came looking.
That's the question, these guys, and I understand what they have to do, they're licensed, they can lose their license sense of, you know, they come in and find out something happens and it's not done according to the standards that citizens is asking
Should we
for.
do that if there is a risk that the insurance is going to cost more?
This is your choice, it's a board choice. Right now, the association insurance is not being reported with the mitigation forms to citizens. None of the agents are doing that.
Yeah, but the individuals, because I know I got a discount when I
Yes.
gave.
I did too.
Yeah.
But you're still gonna have to do it. I mean, we had the roof mitigation.
I
in
can't do it
effect.
myself,
No,
so
I
I'm
mean,
gonna have to
yeah.
have the association do it.
It's still in effect at the moment, and like, I know like with Dick, they didn't care, they were still requiring unit owners to do their own.
Really?
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
if
'cause
it's,
I had a copy of our old mitigation and thing, and I handed it in, they sent it back and said, you have to do it all over again.
What happened is that citizens, the state changed the form a couple of times since that was done, and the insurance companies obviously, if they get more money out of it, they're gonna get more money, so they just turn it down, even though it states right on it, it's good for 5 years.
Yeah.
And a number of insurance companies started doing that.
So and why would it be downgraded?
Yeah, I don't have citizens for mine.
Because when they came in originally, they didn't look at the building the way it is in the forms
I
have
just called them
changed.
today.
Some,
Sent them an
so
email.
that's, these are the problems that they're having in there. And the ISO is the fire rating on the building.
She
And
said,
that,
I'll look
of
it
course,
up.
that's important. And I had 2 companies come out and look at it. They both said the same thing.
you know, and if we do it and we get
How much is yours?
turned down, then we've spent that money for nothing. If we don't do it, and citizens doesn't ask for it from the insurance agent, then it just keeps on
Well,
going.
the only negative thing is you've provided that service to people before, and now you're not going to provide it, so it's
But if,
the
you know,
yin yang of it, you know, it's
and
like I
the league
say.
says that if we don't provide it anymore and we continue to get our mitigation credits for the association, insurance is less. If we do it and we lose it, your maintenance fee is gonna go up,
Well,
because
your
insurance is gonna go up.
insurance will
Right.
drastically if they downgrade the association. But now that, from what I understand, the agents aren't reporting it, the citizens isn't asking it for the condominiums.
Yet. Yet.
So it's something to think about, so we can talk about it, you know, at the next meeting, just keep it as a thought basis, and we can.
All right, the budget, the Z budget. The budget committee.
You want a motion to bring that back up at the next meeting?
Oh, sure.
Table it till the next
Yeah.
meeting?
Well, it's not even on the agenda, it's sort of like,
We can put it on the agenda next.
yeah, you know,
Okay.
it's just a general thing.
All right.
The budget committee worked very, very hard. It was made up of Jim Drew, Moshe, Jennifer Willies, who's in Scotland, and Dick Miner, and myself. And,
Kevin.
no, Kevin wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what.
Just 5 of us. Went through many, many budget variations, looking to find out what would be in the best interest, knowing that our insurance and the community council has just gone up by leaps and bounds. We have no choice in it, that's just the way it is.
I'm sorry, community council?
I'm sorry,
Insurance and community council, I don't understand that.
the cost for insurance for 2014?
No, but the community council, it's going up as well?
Yeah, because they're.
A lot.
Yeah, it's going up a lot because the cost of water, sewer, trash, all the stuff, the services that are bundled under the council and then split out.
Hmm. Okay.
You've been increased.
So could a 3,500 increase,
Uh,
28 or 29 to
11.91.
31.5?
11.9, 12% increase, yeah.
A lot.
And a lot of that's gonna be insurance as well, so
Mhm.
we have no control over that, I mean, it is what it is.
Okay.
So we went back and forth, whether we do a full state mandated reserve, fully funded budget. Do we do a partially funded budget? Do we do no reserves, additional reserves? Every variation you can think of and then some. And first of all, Fernwood has always, in all these years, long before I was here, done a full state mandated reserve budget, period. And it was always with, I mean, when our insurance first went up, when that first started happening, it was an increase, but we all got over it. And we've never, ever even looked at doing anything but that. Now, because of how things are going up, we have to look at it because we have to think about what is right for everybody in here. We all have our individual thoughts. Jennifer had done some really nice graphs and charts, which she's gonna do with whatever we send out for the second notice when the budget goes out. And for most people, it's gonna be a lot easier just to look at that pie chart and see where all the money's going to than trying to read through the budget.
Yes, it's much easier.
Yeah,
Why don't you do a group?
yeah, oh, you have yours with you? Just show Ron, I don't know if he saw that.
Now explain full reserve to me again.
Fully
Oh, I've
funded.
seen those, I got it,
Yeah.
she sent it to me.
Okay, full state
Thank you.
mandated reserves is what, by law, you have to present a fully funded budget every year
To cover expenses needed coming up,
of things like your reserves, your roof, anything that costs over $10,000.
okay?
And that's what you see on here is the roofs, the roads, the building, the painting of the building,
Okay.
that stuff.
Well, that's my question, if we've had a full reserve from day one on all these projects,
Mhm.
why have we had all these assessments to pick up the
Frontwood's
difference?
only had a couple of assessments, and they were
I
not.
know we haven't.
We had one for the paving because it was more money than.
I got a
we had.
record of it, I can tell you,
So
I've
do I.
had
Yeah, I
5
have
since
too.
I've been here.
Okay, but they haven't been for this kind of stuff, a couple
Well,
of
if
them
it's full
were.
reserve, it should cover everything.
No, because we don't have in there, like the heat pump, that was not in the budget. That was something that enough unit owners wanted, and they decided to vote on. We didn't have money to pay for that, so we had to make an assessment for it.
You have also something else, if there is a leak or something, normally you take it from the roof reserve because the repair is for more than 1 year. So
So there's money coming out of
you
there.
put money in, but some money is going out.
Same with the pool. The state, when the state came out with that stupid gravity flow thing, that they said, yes, you have now, and a year later said, no, you don't have to have, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
We didn't have that in our budget.
And I believe I asked to postpone 1 year, I remember that distinctly.
And
But anyway,
the
go
board
ahead.
said, and I remember this very distinctly, one person, several people in particular said, if we do it now, we'll have a better price than if we wait. I remember that very
Yeah.
distinctly.
But we didn't, did we?
Oh, we did get a better price.
Yeah.
But
we
we would
didn't
have
have
got
to
a
pay
better
for
price
it.
if we had waited.
Exactly, we
That's
didn't
right.
get a better price then.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And I do remember it very distinctly.
yeah, okay, go ahead.
Because I wasn't gonna get blamed for that one. That wasn't my decision.
Well, I have a record, like, I just did this before it came down, like in July 2005,
Mhm.
we had an assessment, and my portion was $342.
And do you have on there what it was for?
Okay, yes, tennis courts, signs,
Mhm.
and flood reserve.
That's because we didn't have enough money
There
for
wasn't
flood.
enough in the insurance,
And we,
okay.
and by the way, we may still have an assessment for flood. We don't know
Yeah,
if we have
okay,
enough
and
or
then
not.
the next one that we had, the assessment, was in December of 2010, that's 5 years later. So there's 5 years we had no assessment, and that was for flood insurance,
Mhm.
pool tank, water valve, whatever that was, and road paving.
That's because we didn't have
So
quite
that was
enough in there.
$981,
Right.
that blew my mind, but anyhow. And then the following, that was 2010, and the following one was 2012, which was last year, and that was for the fence.
Right.
And that was $233.
Right.
So we have not had that many assessments. You know, back in
Like Elmwood.
95, 97, we had a few, but it's like $121 summer, you know?
Yeah,
And
that was for the pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it's amazing.
And most of
I'm
that stuff-
surprised that we didn't have that many assessments.
And most of that stuff was, we had a deficit on flood insurance because we don't know what the bill's gonna be until it actually comes out.
I
Correct.
had an idea about that,
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the right thing. Move the insurance to end at the end of the year.
Can't.
Then you cannot,
Well, you can, but I asked Jeff about this because we have 2 different dates. And I think,
Yeah.
Gary, I asked you about this.
they're doing it, Elmwood is doing that.
But
That's why they're always.
No, don't go down that road. Don't go, the worst thing you can do is compare associations around here.
I
Elmwood is
asked,
not
and
doing
that's
that.
what-
Elmwood is not
No?
doing that. So whoever told you that is totally incorrect information.
Okay.
And this is what happens, incorrect information gets put out by somebody who doesn't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden it
And all of a
becomes.
sudden-
All right,
back.
I asked somebody.
Now,
about
you could probably do that, if, it doesn't really matter whether it's at the end of the year or beginning of the year, as long as you're budgeting correctly. But obviously, you can move it to the end of the year or the beginning of the year. Like, you could probably pay 6 months of insurance and then flop it over and do that again, but
But on flood, the way I had asked Jeff about that, he was explaining that, yes, you can do that, but then you lose something there.
It's scary on flood insurance. First of all, it doesn't make any sense to do it. Why do it? You're budgeted right. As long as you're budgeted, what happens is you guys weren't budgeting right. Simple as what it is. You didn't budget
Yeah.
right. With the coordination, the agent wasn't giving you the correct information.
I'm
And
here
it goes
30
short.
years, so I don't know what happened
So
before.
it's like, you know.
Different company,
That's
different
fine.
agency.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
No.
All right,
But
it
let's,
was just a
let's,
side
let's,
thing.
we talked about this, but now we have to have a budget done by Thursday. We gotta stop fooling around with this. If the committee and everybody can't agree on a budget, then it's up to you guys as a board to tell me which one you want to send out, because I've done enough of them. We have to satisfy ourselves and decide on what we wanna do. The committee's still here, right? And the committee
Yeah,
should-
we've got one,
We-
2, 3, 4 of us.
I would think you'd wanna take a look at these budgets and then take a vote on them, 1, 2, or 3, pipe it into Temme. Temme says, the majority of the committee says this, or if you all agree, 100% of you agree, go to the board. The board does not have to accept the recommendation. The board can do what they want. Now, this is where it's at. Now, this is kind of goofy, doing these budgets like this, I'll tell you. I've never experienced this like this.
I haven't either.
There's three, excuse me, let me talk and finish, and then you guys can chat about you want this. We've got, basically, I redid the budgets again this afternoon, this morning. You got 3 budgets that we're looking at. There's only 2 of them that are effective. And they all add the mansards in. The one that's not effective is your fully funded budget, and that's $112,000 or something.
212.
Yeah, 212, so you're not going to move for that one unless the committee thinks about it. You have one that will fully fund the reserves presently that you are using without the mansards. So that's gonna be a less than fully funded budget. But it doesn't have the mansards in it, but it has the fully funding of what you have been doing. So that's an
Everything but the mansard.
everything with the mansard. And then there's another one that puts less money in your roof reserve, modifies your paint reserve to 8 years, and I think that was the only other change in that one.
Yeah, it was.
And that basically will reduce maintenance fees. Now, what do you guys, it's up to you guys, to throw it around, mull it around today and tomorrow. Both give it to her so she knows, because I gotta start getting these notices and get these budgets out. Now, those are from what I can see, from all the concepts of what we've done, these are the budgets that are available to you.
I think since the board is here, I think the board should make a decision today and get it over with.
I personally would give you some advice to look at, you got all 3 budgets? Give the
So the
budget.
maintenance fees, I didn't realize this maintenance fees aren't all the ones without the mansards on it.
The last,
I don't know, the third one.
yeah, so I just explained it, I'm going to give them out to you guys and do this, so that's the reason why you needed, Jennifer needs to see one too.
Yeah.
But
I sent
on
one to
the one that Temme pulled out, on the fully funded budget, there's a top portion on your maintenance fees. I can just show that process.
Yep.
On the fully funded budget, this top portion, there's a background, less than fully funded in this one, so that one does not work on budget number 3. The top maintenance fees does not work
Oh, no, partially.
for budget number 3.
Right.
Like right here, it's only the bottom one that works.
But on budget number 2,
Now,
That's what he asked.
yeah, that's right.
All right, I don't have anything here to know 1, 2, 3, which one is which.
The one that's crossed out, he crossed out because he said that one doesn't work.
Okay, that's the highest one then.
No, I think it was,
yes,
that's partially funded.
no, yes, that partially funded does not work with that budget.
Gary, the one that's budget number 2, is missing a page, I think.
Which one is this one?
Mine might not.
212.
Can't be.
Yeah, that's one.
No, that's budget number 3. There you go.
Yeah, that's the fourth one, I know this
I gave him
one.
everything you gave me.
2 is missing.
Yeah, it's missing the page with the maintenance fees on it.
Yes.
As long as you have one copy, we can just write it down.
I calculated the one without the monster to be about 205. Do we have something like that here? Yeah, 204, here you go. That's the one.
Monday. As long as it'll work out.
Why not change the paint also on the partially one without the mansard? Is there anything against it?
That can be done afterwards. It's just trying to decide which one we want to go with. It's not going to change the maintenance fees that much.
Don't know.
Yeah. So it was sort of like a minor thing.
Alright, so.
But, see if he's got the,
No, I don't.
You need those back?
No.
no, he's looking
Was
for
it
the
like-
page. Did you, that would have been emailed another time, would it?
No.
Which one do you look at?
We're looking at budget two, it's missing.
Yeah,
maintenance.
the maintenance fees budget too is missing, and I don't have it in this laptop, but I think it's obviously it's gonna be, the budget two is gonna have the maintenance fees very close to the first budget that we turned out. So, you know, it's up to 274, 275 for the one bedroom, 440 for the big guy. No, these are your choices, guys. If you wanna modify them, I'm kinda done doing budgets. If you wanna submit a budget to me that you wanna do, that's fine, I'll pump it in the machine and let's nail it out. We gotta make a decision and stop fooling around.
I would recommend, my recommendation would be.
I would think about this, overlook this thing, and then think about it, and then get back to me on this, because it's important that we get this done. Now, you guys gotta think, what is best for all 48 people? Not just for yourself and your own thoughts, and you think this is the way it's gotta be. That isn't the way it works. You gotta work for your 48 people and what you're doing and what is the best promotion for this, for yourself.
I have an email here from Jennifer.
This is 3. Yeah, that makes sure.
Is this budget 4?
No, there should be 1, 2, and 3.
There's a pass number out there, you guys, that's 3. You want 3?
I have 3.
You got one?
I don't have to.
Yeah, I have 3, but I don't have 1.
There's a 3 good.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
I got a 3 now.
Okay?
Gary, I had sent the 3 to Jennifer,
Okay.
and she answered me.
3 is one of the fully funded budget. That's, you know, I don't think too many people are gonna wanna go down that road, maybe.
That's not, it's like what, 253, oh, 285, no, that's, people were killed.
But here's the deal, what y'all have to realize is that if we send out a partially funded budget, whether it be without mansards and everything else remains the same, we are required by law to send out the fully funded budget along with it. If enough people don't vote down the fully funded budget, that's gonna be our budget.
I know, and I'm afraid you need 25 at the meeting. and you need
25, well, they can do it by
at-
proxy.
Pass number out.
We can do it by proxy. We usually have a good turnout at the annual meeting, but,
In our meeting, you have a lot.
Now, your limited proxy is gonna come like this, and I obviously, if you've never done a less than fully funded budget, that you're not used to doing these things, but there are gonna be 2 voting options on here. One is to vote for a fully funded or less than fully funded, and you're gonna wanna tell the people to vote for less than fully funded, because you're gonna choose one of those less than fully funded budgets. It's very important that they do it. If they do not, if you have a quorum, and that vote is less than a majority, then you have to do the fully funded automatically, which is budget number 3. You have one other item on here, too, down here, which says it allows the board to make use of reserve money. In case of a hurricane or a fire or something like this, they can take access to the money right away. They don't have to have a membership meeting and do all that stuff. So those are the 2 options you're gonna have on there, and you're gonna have to train your people on how to do this. One of these copies, so you guys wanna take one. You're gonna, want to talk to your people and ensure that they vote for the less than fully funded budget. You got a choice now, which of the less than fully funded do you want to do? You want to do the one which maintains your thoughts of fully funding now, or do you want to use the one that reduces maintenance fees?
well, Jennifer, I'll read you what Jennifer says. She said, I personally would go for a small rise in maintenance for now, and look to keep the costs as trimmed as possible to save for future reserves. Sorry, I could not send this before now, blah, blah, blah. That, in a nutshell, is what she's saying.
So she's going for the first version.
Yeah, the last one we had before.
I would like to go for the one without mansard. That's
Everything but the man service.
Yeah,
But, yeah, that's
like
the one
we
we
used to
don't know.
do here, whenever this happens, then it will be an assessment, there's nothing we can do. Hopefully 5-10 years from now, but
Which budget is that?
Well, that's budget 2.
That would be budget 2 is what, and I gotta get the maintenance fees, I'll email you those maintenance
Okay.
fees, I don't know what I was stapling in, doing that.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it before now.
I have budget 1, a lot of budget 1, where's 2?
You have 3?
I'm at 3.
I've got 3 of them.
Anybody
I
has
got
budget
3, I
2?
don't have 1 or 2.
I had one, but I gave it to you, I don't know where it went.
I gave it back to you, right there.
Here goes.
Oh, then I do have budget,
You have budget 2?
Thank you.
without answers, yeah.
What's the
We don't know.
monthly maintenance?
We don't know.
Doesn't,
Oh,
that's what they're
yeah.
missing, that's what they're missing.
That's what Gary's working on.
That's a
right now.
sheet that's missing.
Okay, I did it and it was about $10-12
Cheaper than what-
between.
It's in between.
It was not much different, I think. Between $7 and $12, but I'm not sure. It was $7,000, and if it's two.
Your approximate maintenance fees on, and I'll get it correct when I go out, your approximate maintenance fees on budget 2, you guys wanna write them down, 275
For what?
for NM1, the first one. If you just write, you can write, if you have a pen, just write it right alongside the, oh, actually, don't have it.
Okay,
So
wait.
that'd be 275, 343, 358, 358, 361, 430, 442.
This is the full budget.
Without massage.
442.
No, this is,
No, this is full, this is the original full.
It's the original budget with your fully funded.
Yeah.
Not that, not that one there,
This is
No,
without
this
the
is-
mansard.
that's without your mansard.
Without.
So that's without?
without. Yeah, budget 3 is,
Budget 3 is a fully funded budget with your mansards.
But we don't have the.
Oh, okay, I see, 4.
That was budget 2.
yeah, it was, that's what he was doing, but Moshe was saying that this was fully funded, and no, it's not. It's-
Okay, yeah, it's the other way around, yeah, I see.
So it's about $10, 442, 458. It's a little bit more on the big guys.
Yeah.
$16.
430 for me.
16, that's why I wanted to change the paint and whatever, it will be $15, but.
Okay, that's what I do.
So you might want to just thumb through these things and think which is the best, so we're not making a snap decision today, but we do need to know this by Thursday, for darn sure, so this is, we can put this to bed.
All right, so today's Monday. We already have Jennifer's answer. You guys want to look at them? And he'll send the maintenance fees later. He'll email
You can have my answer, it's definitely what we started with, kind of fully funded without the money.
So your budget, you're voting for budget 2. You might
Budget
just want to write a little chart there if they want to vote right now. Put a chart
them. We'll put it in
someplace.
the minutes.
And the reason is because we always did it before, and that's the only reason, otherwise I'll go with the cheaper one, but.
You should have, if you just should do is do committee, and then 1, 2, 3, draw a line and say boom. That way,
Jim, Dick, Tim,
you wouldn't, you don't have to know their names, all you gotta do is put budget 1, 2, or 3,
I'll fill in what you know.
and then right next, draw a line across there, and motion wants budget 2, you just put down a mark on budget 2, that you got 1 there.
Jennifer's budget 1.
Jennifer's budget 1.
Jim? Jim's budget 2.
I'm budget 2.
I'm budget 2.
I'm
All
budget,
right,
I'm budget 2.
thank you.
Ken?
I know, I'm
Are
looking.
you
Oh.
well?
Well, wait, that's
No,
separate.
you don't, don't
That's
don't
the
touch
No,
it
I
up.
just, I don't understand why we're not
Budget
including
1
the budget with the mansards.
Because
Yeah, we don't
it's-
have
A
that.
lot more maintenance fees every
Did
month.
you see the numbers?
Yeah, well, we're looking at like the same thing we talked
458.
about.
That's, but which is the one, if it doesn't get voted right, it goes to?
Not
458.
458.
It would be with the mansards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go for 2.
Well, wait,
No,
that's
not
separate.
yet, that's something
separate.
else.
This is just a
That's
budget.
between the three of you.
Then it comes as a recommendation to the board.
Now they're jumping, what happened?
Okay, so the committee's saying 2, right?
Yes.
Budget 2.
Budget two, findings,
with
communities two.
corrections on there to, clean it up,
And I'm going to sleep good tonight, finally.
I may have to go out and work the streets, but that's something.
Well,
We
that'll be-
don't have
Hey,
a,
you think so for me?
we don't have a choice. We always did it. And basically, budget plan is less than what the insurance went up and all the other stuff, so we are
So,
cutting.
Gary, those are the actual numbers, right, what you just read out?
Unless you guys wanna change them, I'll get I'm sorry I didn't have the maintenance fees, I don't know what happened when I copied that thing off, but, that's close to what your maintenance fees are.
Okay.
The budgets are, those budgets are all almost exactly the same. There is one other thing, on that one there, I saw that there's, pooling paving, it's $56 more, it's gotta be, revert back to your original budget the way you set it up. The two has no, is your exact, but the way you're doing your reserves right now, exactly the way you're doing it right now too, so that's what you guys, unless they're fully funded.
One question, can we do the painting, extend it in a year like he did in 3, or do the, whatever we can to make it easier on the people?
That's not gonna,
It's $1, it's still.
it's $1, it's not, the only place you're going to help the people out is less than fully funding your reserve, full roof reserve. It's the only place where you can put enough, save enough money to do anything.
Right.
$1,000, $100 or $1,000 is nothing,
Yeah,
$1,000 over 4 years is only $250,
It doesn't really matter.
it's your roof reserve is what's going.
What kills you?
If you don't wanna fund, if you wanna reduce your maintenance fees, you gotta reduce your roof reserves.
Yeah, and I can't
Simple,
see that.
it's simple.
No, we need
I
to
don't
move.
want-
Especially when Dogwood, it was $3,000 for an assessment. The
They
last
did
time
the
had an
cheap
assessment.
stuff.
No way.
And then.
No, Moshe, don't say those things when you don't exactly know what's going on. Please, it's really, these folks might say something and believe it. You don't know that for sure. You don't know that. You don't know that. You just.
To them, they made the best decision possible with the knowledge that they had.
Okay, let's put it like that, thank you.
Now, there may be a couple of guys over there that say it's bad or something like this that have knowledge of it, but there's not anybody else that saw the contract besides the guys at 104, so you don't know what materials were used or anything.
Okay.
I can say, your roof is really bad up
Yeah.
here. It's just an opinion of somebody throwing it out there, and the problem is, these folks will never believe you. And that's the scary part, we gotta think what's positive and what
You
we
don't
wanna do
wanna
about this
corrupt
stuff.
somebody's mind.
Oh, no.
You gotta be careful about doing those things, it's really
All right,
important. That's what happens around these circles.
yeah.
Well, now we're going
Now,
to.
actually, if you guys wanna know something, 103 doesn't fund their roof reserve fully, but they have the best model for taking care of the associations and their people. They almost never do an assessment, but they know when it's gonna come, that roof is gonna come, that they're gonna have to pay the price. But they have a good plan on the rest of the stuff that they use and do in the place. The important thing for you guys to do is develop a plan that's going to be good for 5 or 10 years. And you gotta start thinking in those terms and how you wanna do that, so you can avoid those assessments.
That's why we have the 3,500, and understand, that doesn't mean we're not gonna have an assessment at some point in time, depending on what the thing is.
Well, assessments should come from an emergency.
Yeah.
Now, they shouldn't be coming from things that you normally do. It's an emergency, something that happens, and that's what you should be doing it. But you have to have a good, solid plan to avoid that. That'll take some time to develop that, I would think.
So, and we've got our start with the 3,500.
Well, no, Temme, I don't think austerity is in anybody's vocabulary here. And that austerity is
Gonna bump you.
it's gonna last for 3 years probably before you guys get yourself back up into a reasonable financial condition. And I mean, austerity is austerity. So it's your choice. You guys run the place. I don't. I can only give you advice. Now, one thing, I'll just get off the subject quickly, since we're talking about money, which is my favorite talk. You have a lot of money in your reserves in cash. There's not really much way of getting more money out of that, but you can get some more out of it. One of the banks will offer, it's 0.85%. Doesn't sound like much, but when you're stacking $80,000, $90,000 in there, it is some money. You're presently getting 0.5% in the money market that you have at your present bank. You can leave that 50,000 there and take the rest of it, I don't know, it's 70 or 80,000, and stick it in there in one of these other banks, it's Regions Banks, that offers a higher money market account. They're money markets and not CDs. So you can just take the money right back out again.
So this is
And-
the
and-
C1 now.
And the place, and C1 Bank, the ones we work with, if you go into a CD, they have special CDs that allow you to break it. So you can go into a CD, if you're gonna get 1% now, and 2 years from now, it's 3%, you break the CD and roll the money into the higher CD, so with no penalty on that break.
Are we allowed to do that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
In our
We used to
documents?
have them in CDs.
What, put CDs?
Yeah.
I don't believe there'd be any, what, you're the expert on that, Moshe.
Oh, I'm not going to read it again.
Go look in your,
Moshe, we used to have almost
If
all
you
our.
serve it, then, well, I cannot assume that it was okay, but.
We
let's
quit
look at it.
when CDs went down
yeah,
to.
to nothing. The CD only pays 0.75%, they pay nothing. Unless you put it out there 3 years, unless you put it out 3
I
years.
just put in for one.
But you
year.
put $100,000 into a CD at 0.35%, extra money you're gonna get, that's $350.
Yeah.
I know.
$350 is
Yeah, goes into
$350.
that, yeah, it goes into that account and,
And it goes into, I don't know what you guys spent your insurance money on something, but usually that insurance is a slush fund in your reserves that you can use it when pool heater goes out or something like that, you got $3,000 or $4,000 in there, and you can use it for it, but you have no interest money in your reserves.
well, at Wells Fargo, there was no interest at all, no, nothing, it was just there.
So Regions .85 is a CD, or is that just passbook?
2.15.
Money market
Well, not in the regular account.
by Regions
Right,
Bank.
the CD.
Yeah, CD, yeah,
That's the best one
But
around
that's for a
here.
year.
yeah, that's for a year.
So that's what we deal with. You guys can go out and opt around, there probably are CDs out there that'll be competitive in these banks.
Yeah, I just got one for 1.10.
Yeah, so there are banks out there that get better than this 7.75%. And so,
We can put it in a CD for a year. It's 1 year CD.
1 year CDs
Well,
aren't paying
we'll put it on the
anything,
agenda
banks,
for
unless
next
unless
month's
you go out and look. That's a readout for the CDs,
It wouldn't be worth it for that little bit in case you need it. You break the CD, oh, you
See,
that's
if
right,
you
you
work with our,
said you
if you work with our bank, there's certain CDs on there that they allow you to break them in. There's no
C1?
There's certain CDs on that
So
sheet.
what bank?
1.5.
C1,
Oh,
that's the bank where your money is.
is it a five-star bank?
What?
Is it a five-star?
I have no idea.
Oh, I only do five.
FDIC
Leave the
insured.
5 stars.
Huh?
It doesn't matter, 5 stars.
We'll put this
Oh,
on
it
the
does.
agenda for next
It
month.
does to me.
It's not the
Yeah.
bank. If the bank falls down, you get your money in 99 years.
That's not true either.
All right, so
Nobody
now,
knows
we
that.
have a recommendation
Yeah.
from the,
That's the insurance.
Okay,
Yeah.
Are you gonna make a motion about the budget committee and making the recommendations on this and
all
make?
right, Jim, make a motion from the budget committee.
Motion. I make a motion that we accept the budget
Okay,
Motion to,
no, second. You can say
yeah, I'll
Budget
second.
two.
He seconded.
That's fully funded, correct?
Fully funded minus, it's
Minus
not,
the
no,
mansards.
it's partially funded,
I just
but it's
wanted-
everything but the mansards.
I just wanted to change it to
Be
recommend
careful
to
with
the
the
board,
mansards.
number 2.
Now, the mansard, is that also including the
Yeah.
little roofs parts up here?
that's the mansard.
That's what it
These
is.
are, I thought it's the big things out in front.
Shakes.
No, it's these things.
It's all the shakers. See
Oh, where
the
the
shakers.
wood shingles are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
All the
also
way around.
on the front of our buildings, those
You got
big.
Same
mansards
thing.
there too.
That's
Yeah.
mansards,
I
yeah.
didn't know if this was considered a mansard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all mansards.
They're all,
Now, a decision on the mansards will be when? Is that gonna be just something that's gonna be continued on?
Yeah.
So we don't,
yeah, because we're not, well, we have to wait and see what the membership wants to do. If they want to go with budget 2, if that's the pleasure of the board to send that out,
okay.
then, yeah, at some point we'll have to talk about it. But if the membership wants the mansards in there, then it'll be in the reserves. So I guess we'll have to wait until the annual meeting to find that out.
So the annual meeting can make the change to go to a fully funded with mansards,
Well,
or they could accept the
yeah.
budget.
They have the choice,
Right.
if there's not, they're gonna vote for or less than fully funded or fully funded, if they vote for the fully funded or don't vote, and it goes into the fully funded, you know, it depends
So
on.
we're gonna have to educate, because since we've never done that here, we're gonna have to educate
So then I
people.
think, the notice goes out and say it's very important that you come to the annual meeting
We do that
For
anyway.
proxy.
We do that anyway.
okay,
Excuse
wait.
me, does that $80,000 for your mansard is $1,059 and $21.05 for the big guy. That's off of $80,000. So that's,
What's better than 2,300?
you should start telling your people to start planning on it. If you want to get a wise plan, you say in 10 years we're gonna do this. So you remind them every year that they're supposed to be putting, some money, away for
For that rainy day.
for that rainy day.
I'm going to
Because
say-
you're gonna give them plenty of time.
We got a first, we got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
What's those numbers again?
Now it's going for you guys, and
1259 for the small unit, 2105 for the big unit, 1650 for the middle ones.
All right, so the budget committee has made a recommendation to the board of directors to to submit budget 2, which is a less than fully funded budget with everything minus the reserves. I'm sorry.
Mansard.
Everything minus Mansard, that's like.
as we used to have here in the last 200 years.
Right.
Just make sure that they.
But they
know
just
that-
need to understand it's less than fully funded.
Yes.
So, is there a motion from the board?
I'll make a motion to accept budget 2.
Okay, I'll make a second. I'll second that motion.
I'll third.
That doesn't go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Hallelujah.
There you go.
Wow,
God, it's like giving birth, Gary.
The other
You know what?
associations, it takes me 30 minutes to do the budgets and it's done. Believe it. So you guys have gone through this technique of trying to learn how to do it, but it doesn't take this long.
We've never had taken this long to do it.
Oh, yes.
And we never had a problem that a chunk of $80,000 was
No.
never in the budget.
No.
That was the problem.
It's a big chunk of money.
We would have been done after the insurance guy, actually.
That's the agenda. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh God, I had, but it's all gone.
Well, you look like you're looking for.
So we are funded for our flood and regular insurance,
Yeah.
that's covered, ready to go.
Yes.
We're just working on next year.
The big problem with your insurance, we don't know what's gonna happen with this darn flood insurance.
Okay, so
It
that
may-
doesn't come till
it may-
July.
You're safe now this year, because it's not gonna, the changes aren't gonna come until next October. But if they shift and take away your grandfathering of your flood insurance, going from a C to an AE, that flood insurance is gonna go up dramatically. Now, so you see all the homeowners with their face.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't said anything about condominiums because they haven't talked about them, but if it goes to condominiums, then you're gonna be faced with that same thing.
Yeah, I know, I read that.
And then you'll definitely be less than fully
Oh,
funded.
I know, I had a question before we are closing. Board positions,
Yeah.
since you just agreed to the meeting today, isn't it 90 days from today before it's?
No, we approved it 90 days back. No?
Okay, so we have 5 positions on the board?
Fine.
But
All right.
The minutes were approved at this meeting, we thought at the board meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and the board approved it at that time, that's when it goes into effect.
That's when it takes effect. That's what I was trying to
No.
tell you.
Yeah, I
Your
was
opinion
asking-
between the asphalt shingle, the metal shingle, and the cedar? Why are you picking the metal?
I don't have enough experience, I would
Oh,
tell you to bring guys in at pros and cons of each kind. If you put wood back up again, they'll last 50 or 60 years, you know, if you get good quality. My biggest problem with metal is, will they fade
yeah,
in 20 or 30 years, you know? That's,
More expensive.
and there may be some around here with some age on them.
the circles were created to be uniform, now we get all these different
140.
colors here, there,
Well,
park,
these
no,
last-
I don't know.
These last since
They went through, they went,
Community council having a power, and said,
Really?
okay, this is the way it's
That's why.
speak.
my understanding, no, they went out and tried to do that and said,
Would metal
attorneys
last that
told them no.
long?
See, I don't like that all.
It would
It would have to
not.
be in the documents.
Made of aluminum.
Aspen has
Yeah.
them up.
Well, we could just go to plywood, treated, and paint it, hey, what the heck?
The cheapest way is shingles, like 103.
We don't need shingles,
Aspen is done.
put plywood up and paint it.
You
You
could,
done?
yeah, absolutely you could. There's no reason why you couldn't.
All right, if there's no other
Make a
questions,
motion.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Meeting adjourned.
Okay.